Hi friends. So in today's session I am going to discuss list, tuple and set. So these are the basic things in Python. Before starting NumPy, in my next session I will discuss NumPy, the library which is there in Python. Before that you have to know the idea of list, tuple and set. So next we will directly go to Jupyter notebook as always, because every time whenever I want to say something to you, it's better to show you, then you will have a clear idea what I am going to say. So say I want to create list. What is a list? First thing we have to know, list means you say you are having different types of numbers, or it may be floating point, it may be something else, it may be a string. So maybe you are having different types of strings, so all those things you want to store somewhere. So for that you can think that, okay, I am having list is like that. You can store all those things inside that list. So we can create one list, then you will understand. Say I am creating one list, data 1. Okay, inside that list first I am giving random numbers, say okay, 99. So 34, 56, 78, 89, 99 I have given. Data 1, shift enter. My list is now ready. So always in case of list we are using this brackets. This is the function of the list. Whenever you are going to create one list, you have to use square bracket. You are not supposed to use curly brackets or first brackets. You have to use square brackets. That is the function of the list. That is the main thing. Okay, so after my list is created, say I want to put floating point number also, I want to put a string also inside my list. So I want to check that is it possible or not. So I'm taking another variable, and there I want to create my list. Say I'm having two integer numbers, I'm having two float numbers, and then I'm having one string also. Say it's banana, just like that. So we can check data 2. Yeah, it's completely working. That means inside my list you can put any number, any types of numbers. It may be any type. You can put string also. So it depends on your choice, it depends on your requirement. Now if I want to check what is the indexing of my list, so what do you think? I'm just taking the first one, data 1. I just want to check what is the indexing. So in case of data 1, if you put 0, what it will give? See, it is giving 34. That means in case of indexing, in case of list, it starts with 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means if there are 5 numbers, it is starting from 0 and ending up to 4. Also, negative indexing is possible. That means in case of list, negative indexing starts from the last. That means -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. -5 is our 34, -1 is our 99, which we can check, we can verify. Okay, so this is -1, it's data 1. Okay, see, this is 99. Now if I give data 1 -5, it is giving 34. So now that means negative indexing also completely works for list. So indexing is there in case of list, and how it's going on, now you can understand. Now say we want to do slicing. So for that, say data 1, I want to slice it from the beginning to end. Means beginning to maybe 0. It is 0, 1, 2. So I want to slice it up to 2, say. So I have to do, if I give 2, then it will not take, because this is the end point, and the end point it will print before the end point. That means if you give 2, see what will be the result. See, this is only printing 0 and 1. So if you want up to 2, then you have to give here 3. Then it will give you up to 78. So this is how slicing work in case of list. So you want to check different types of things. Say data 1, I am giving 2 is 2 and there is nothing after that. Then it will take up to the end. See, this is taking from 2 to up to the end. So 2 is means 0, 1, 2, 78 is the position. 2 is our index value and it is taking up to the end of the index value. So like that you can slice, you can see how it works, and you can use negative indexing also for slicing. It will work same, as simple as that. And second point is that you can create 2 lists and you can join both the list also. There, one thing I want to tell you, that different types of operations you can perform here in case of list. That means the very important point that list is mutable. That means you can add numbers in case of list, you can delete, you can remove, and you can perform different operations with the list, with the values of the list. Say you are having data 1. Just want to check. Yeah, it's our data 1. Say I want to add 45 in my list data 1. There are two type how you can add. That means you can use append to add the number 45. That means if you use data 1 dot append, inside you have to use the first bracket and you have to give the number which you want to append, which is 45. If you run, see, it will append that number at the end of the list. Okay, that means if you use append, it will append that number at the end of the list. But if you use insert, insert will insert the number at which index location you want. So it is user friendly. That means if you use data 1 dot insert, after that inside the bracket, first you have to give the index value in which position or in which location you want. That means I want to take the index value 2 where I want to append my number, say 77, and you run it. See, your number 77, it's inserted into your list at the index value 2. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So that is the difference between insert and append. Append will insert that number at the end of the list, and insert will insert that number at which index location you want. Then at the same way, there are two operations, that is remove and pop. So if you say you want to remove one number or variable from your list, so after that you have to use data 1 dot remove. Inside the first bracket, which number you want to remove, that you have to give. Say I want to remove 89. So I am giving 89. So it will remove 89 from your list. Then pop is there. Then what is the function of pop? Pop, in case that pop, we are giving the index number of the element. That means we are not giving the element directly. We are giving the index number of the element, and see, data 1 dot pop, we are giving the index number of the element which we want. That means if I want to pop out 77, I have to give here 2, and see, it popped out the element 77. So if you want, you can print it and see, yes, now our 77 is not there inside our list. So if you don't mention the indexing value inside that, then it will always take the last element. So always which element you want to pop out, there you have to give the index value inside the bracket. These are the few operations, means these are the few operations I showed. There are many other operations also in case of list. And now another some mathematical functions I want to tell you, because say our final, which is our final data 1 I want to see. Okay, so this is our final data 1. Now I want to perform some mathematical operations. I want to sum up all the numbers. Then what I have to do is that I have to use sum, and inside that I have to give the list number. So it will give you the sum of your data. Then if you want to take the max value of your data, then you have to use max, and you have to give your list. Data 1 is our list, and it will give which number is the maximum number in case of our list. So in this case, in list, different types of things you can use. So a few points regarding list is that list is the most important point is that list is mutable. You can add numbers, you can delete numbers from the list, you can add string, you can delete strings from the list, and you can use string, you can use floating point number, you can use integer, any number, in any kind of numbers, anything you can use inside one list. So this is all about list. And second one is tuple. So what is the difference between list and tuple? Basically, tuple is immutable. That means in case of tuple, you cannot change the numbers or whatever there inside the tuple, you cannot change it. So where do you really want tuple? In case of business applications, it has been seen that there are many applications where a huge numbers of data sets are there, which we don't want to change those amounts. Okay, those are fixed and we don't want to change those numbers. In those cases, when we perform some task, we want to use tuple. We don't want to change any values from those sets, so that's why in those cases we use tuple. So that's why tuple is much faster than list, and also it increases the speed of the operations. And always in case of tuple, you use the first bracket. That means I will show you. Say you are going to create one tuple, say T1. Then what you have to do is that you have to use like list. We are using square brackets. In case of tuple, we will use first brackets. So our tuple is ready. So we can check that is it possible to replace any numbers. Indexing is possible or not. You can check that. This is T1. Yeah. So is it possible? Yeah, indexing is possible in case of tuple. So if indexing is possible, then slicing also it will means indexing will same. It will go like 0 to 1. That means if you take T1 inside the bracket 0 is to 2, it will give you 0 and 1. So it will work like same as list. That means you can slice as how I showed you how you will perform slicing in case of list. In the same way, you can perform that also in case of tuple. But you cannot append, you cannot insert, you cannot delete any element from the list. You can try that here also. You will find that it will give you error. Say I want to remove change my variable. Say that is 45, right? Yeah, I want to change that into any another one. So I am going to use this position is 0 equals to say 56. It will show you error because tuple object does not support item assignment. You cannot assign any new element to your list. You cannot add, you cannot change anything, you cannot do anything in case of tuple. All the values whatever there in tuple, that is fixed. Second point is set. So this is all about tuple, and the third one is the set. Set is, in case of set, it's very similar to list only, but in case of set we are using curly brackets. So what is the difference between set? First I will show you how to represent a set. You can use curly brackets and you can give different numbers in case of list. Okay, sorry, this is set. So you just set check is working. Yeah. So in case of set, you're going to use curly brackets. In case of list, you're going to use square. In case of tuple, first brackets. In case of set, you are going to use curly brackets. So here the difference between is that if you check, that first thing will come in your mind, that is it possible to give indexing? Because one thing after means run of this operation, have you seen that the sequence of the list, whatever it was there, it has been changed. So whatever is the sequence, it always change in case of set. Previously, the whatever the list I have given, means the list of the numbers I have given in case of set, that has been changed. So the indexing is not at all possible in case of set. That means if you check that, what it will show? See, it is showing that set object is not subscriptable. That means you cannot do indexing. It's very simple, because if your sequence is changing, sequence of numbers is changing, then how you will assign the index values? So it is not possible to give indexing. So this is all about your tuple, set and list, which is, I think, which is enough for this, which is required for the next video for NumPy basics. And if anything is required, then I will create another video and I will obviously post it. Thank you and stay tuned.